Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
As police put together the timeline of the terror attack in New Orleans, more victims share their experiences.
I couldn't do nothing but thank God that I only got shot in my foot. But I can't even.
We're going to hear more from a 23-year-old who still has a bullet lodged in her foot from the attack.
I'm tracking a cold front this morning that'll come through later on this evening. I'll show you when we could see a few sprinkles and much colder temperatures.
Fighting for the gavel. We'll explain just how close today's House Speaker vote is expected to be as Mike Johnson tries to keep his position. Good morning, everyone. It is 4:30 on your Friday morning. We made it to Friday, and you are in the perfect position to get up to date on what you need to know. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingood in for Jeff Hogan. But another cold day on tap, but not like we didn't expect this. Our meteorologists have been telling us about this. We have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner back here in the news station, and she's going to tell you a little bit about your forecast.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everybody. We take a look at what's happening here in downtown Raleigh. It is quiet. We're looking at mainly clear skies this morning, but it's cold. 29 degrees right now, and that number could drop a few more degrees by the time we get to, say, 7 or 8 o'clock this morning. 25 in Roxborough, 33 Rocky Mount, 27 in Fayetteville, 30 in Southern Pines. Our winds are fairly calm right now, but the wind is going to pick up for us later on. The cold front itself comes through this evening, and we only have a small chance of showers, just a 20% chance. So this is not going to be a big rainmaker for us. Our temperatures this afternoon will be as mild as they're going to be for the next 7 days. If you're looking for a warm day, this is it at 53 degrees. So we're going to be talking more about the wind that comes in and brings us a bitter wind chill for parts of the weekend coming up in just a bit.
Elizabeth, thanks. This is a live look at Bourbon Street, New Orleans. It is quiet there now, but small crowds have been seen walking there through the night. The street reopened yesterday after the attack on New Year's Day. New video shows a growing memorial on Bourbon Street for the victims of Wednesday's attack. A large cross and flowers have been placed at the site, along with signs that indicate a vigil planned for 7 tomorrow night. The FBI says it believes the attacker acted alone as his truck plowed through the street early Wednesday morning, killing 14 people and injuring dozens more. While the attacker said he was doing it on behalf of ISIS, the White House has seen no evidence of foreign involvement in the attack. The FBI also says there's no definite connection right now between what happened in New Orleans and the Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas.
Now, both men connected to the attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas lived in North Carolina, and they both served at Fort Liberty when it was still called Fort Bragg. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us from Fort Liberty this morning. And Kelsey, this is not the only similarity between these two people.
Chris, there are so many similarities to both of these situations, and maybe this is just a coincidence, but the FBI is working this morning to see if there could be more to this. So we know Shamsuddin Jabbar and Matthew Livelsberger both served in the Army and were stationed here at Fort Liberty, but law enforcement says there's no record that they served in the same unit and they didn't overlap. However, they both served in Afghanistan back in 2009. Now comes the similarities in what happened. Both used the same car rental company, Turo, to rent their vehicles with attacks on New Year's Day. And both vehicles were electric, a Ford F-150 Lightning in New Orleans and a Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas. We've reported before that the FBI says Jabbar was inspired by ISIS. And as for Livelsberger, the FBI says they haven't gotten access to his phones or computer yet, so that could give them some clues as to what his motive was. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
This morning, we're hearing from more survivors of the terror attack in New Orleans. Alexis Scott Wyndham from Mobile, Alabama, was shot in the foot on Bourbon Street. The 23-year-old says the bullet is still lodged in her foot. She's grateful to be alive. She was celebrating the new year with 7 friends. She says they were about to grab a bite to eat before calling it a night when chaos erupted on the street.
We heard something go boom, 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 and people were screaming, and I looked to the left, and a truck was coming down like the street, and he was halfway on the sidewalk too. He was just running people over like it was nothing.
She says the truck hit her and knocked her to the ground. At first, she thought maybe the truck ran over her foot or broke her ankle. But as she tried to get up and run away, she saw blood pouring out. She FaceTimed her mother, who identified the wound as a bullet wound. Then she says a Good Samaritan and his girlfriend offered to take her and her friend, Brandon Whitsitt, to the hospital. And Whitsitt is still in the hospital.
A Gardner man remembers one of the New Orleans attack victims as a great friend and a teammate. Colin Eady played alongside Tyler Besh on the Princeton University football team.
You know, your heart breaks when you see stuff like this, but I think for anybody, it hits a lot different when, you know, your friends, your family, your loved ones are involved in a senseless incident like this.
Besh was from Louisiana. He was on Bourbon Street with another teammate at the time of that attack. Ryan Quigley has a broken leg, but he is expected to be okay.
We will stay on top of any new information coming out of New Orleans and Las Vegas throughout the day. Look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. Breaking news, President Joe Biden is expected to block the takeover of U.S. Steel by Japanese company Nippon Steel on grounds that it poses a threat to national security. That's according to the Washington Post. The report says Biden could make the announcement today. The $14 billion deal was backed by U.S. Steel shareholders. They voted in April to allow it. Nippon has indicated it would take legal action if the deal is blocked. President-elect Donald Trump has also said he would block the deal.
Today, we expect to learn more about a bomb threat in South Carolina. This forced all lanes of I-85 near Greenville to close for 5 hours. It started with a traffic stop at about 2:45 yesterday afternoon. A tractor-trailer driver told a state trooper he had an explosive device inside his truck. All 6 lanes of I-85 were shut down as authorities investigated. But despite what that trucker said, no bomb was found. The driver was taken into custody, though. Authorities say they will release more information today, including the charges the driver is facing.
New this morning, 4 people are injured after a shooting in Charlotte. Police say this happened last night in a neighborhood on the city's east side. Investigators say 3 people have life-threatening injuries. 1 has minor injuries. Police have not released any information on whether anyone was arrested or if they are looking for someone this morning.
The new Congress convenes today at the U.S. Capitol, where you are looking live this morning. And the first big move will be to vote on a Speaker of the House. If Mike Johnson keeps his role, he will have the narrowest House majority in nearly 100 years. Republicans won 220 seats in the November election. Democrats won 215. The breakdown could actually be 217 to 215. And that's because 2 GOP lawmakers are expected to join the Trump administration. And Republican Matt Gaetz is not planning to return to Congress.
A reminder for parents, Wake County school students on the traditional calendar do not have school today. The school board approved the change a month ago. Today had been the only school day scheduled for the holiday week. Teachers brought concerns about low attendance to the board. Students will return to class January 6th.
As his first, official act as governor, Josh Stein traveled to Asheville to sign 5 executive orders for Helene relief. He's creating a new state agency focused on Western North Carolina disaster relief. He also lifted regulations on state government purchases. Stein says that will speed up efforts to rebuild roads and homes, too. The governor says the response will be a top priority for his administration.
We want every dollar dedicated to recovery, whether federal, state, local, or charitable, to be spent as efficiently, impactfully, and quickly as possible.
Governor Stein is also giving state employees extra vacation time, but they can only use that for volunteering on disaster relief efforts.
Duke was unable to keep pace with Ole Miss in the Gator Bowl. The Rebels jumped out to a 24-7 lead at halftime and kept scoring in the second half. Ole Miss ended up running away with a 52-20 win. The Blue Devils finished their first season under head coach Manny Diaz with a 9-4 record.
Your time is 4:39. Baldoni versus the New York Times. Actor Justin Baldoni's attorney sheds light on his lawsuit against the newspaper.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no.
What he says about the text messages included in Blake Lively's lawsuit against Baldoni.
And a local man says fireworks are to blame for destroying his truck and part of his home. What he described seeing on his security camera minutes before fire broke out.
And we do want to give you a live look this morning in Durham. This is from the American Tobacco campus there. It's another cold start that we have, and that is not going to change over the weekend. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will talk about the cold front that she is tracking this morning.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43, taking a look at some cold temperatures as you're stepping out the door. 33 in Wilson, 29 in Durham, and 27 in Fayetteville. And these temperatures could drop a few more degrees in the next couple of hours. Looking at Wilson, the whirligigs are completely still right now. But later on this afternoon, as the cold front comes through, we're going to start to see the wind pick up. The wind chill will be an issue for us tonight and tomorrow. And I'll walk you through what that's going to feel like coming up. But heading out the door this morning, again, temperatures are upper 20s to around 30. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds and a small chance of a few sprinkles this evening. If you're out walking the dog, say 4 or 5 o'clock, it'll still be fairly dry, but then after that, we could see a sprinkle or two. It's a cold start out there this morning, with temperatures near freezing, so bundle up as you're headed out with your pups.
New this morning, an hours-long standoff at the home of South Korea's impeached president. It's over. Investigators from South Korea's anti-corruption agency tried to serve an arrest warrant against Yoon Suk-yeol. Their effort failed because of resistance from presidential security staff and hundreds of Yoon's supporters. The charges relate to the short-lived martial law that Yoon imposed last month. His lawyers say that the warrant to arrest the president is illegal.
New this morning, at least 50 people are dead in Israeli airstrikes across the Gaza Strip. The bombardment comes as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he is sending a delegation to Qatar to work toward a ceasefire deal. Now, one of the strikes hit an Israeli declared humanitarian zone. Hundreds of refugees have been sheltering there. A hospital says the attack killed 3 children. It also killed the general director of the Gaza police and his deputy.
We are working to learn the names of the 2 people killed because a small plane crashed into a building. This happened in California. Dozens of other people were injured in this. Surveillance video shows the moment the plane crashed into a commercial building yesterday afternoon in the city of Fullerton. You can see right there. We'll zoom in so you can see a little clearly. This is about 25 miles from L.A. Police say at least 200 people were inside the building at the time. Investigators are working to learn if the people killed were inside the plane or on the ground when they died. Investigators also say the plane was a home-built aircraft with seating for 4 people. They have not said, though, how many people were on board. Authorities do say the pilot appeared to be returning to the airport after takeoff for an emergency landing.
Actor Justin Baldoni is firing back after his co-star Blake Lively accused him of sexual harassment. Baldoni's lawyer speaking out for the first time since Lively accused the actor of unprofessional and sexually inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. Lively also accused Baldoni of orchestrating a smear campaign to damage her reputation. The New York Times published the first story about Lively's allegations. Now, Baldoni and 9 others, including Baldoni's PR team, are suing the paper for libel. The filing says text messages included in Lively's suit were taken out of context or excluded.
We plan to release every single text messages between the 2 of them. We want the truth to be out there. We want the documents to be out there. We want people to make their determination based on receipts.
In a statement, the New York Times stands by its reporting and says it plans to vigorously defend the lawsuit. A lawyer for Lively says nothing in this lawsuit changes anything about the claims made in her complaints.
The SBI is investigating a Knightdale police officer for possibly having a relationship with a 17-year-old girl. A new search warrant obtained by WRAL reveals Officer Isaac Holliday met the girl on an app called Wiz. After talking for 4 months, the girl agreed to meet Holliday. He picked the teenager up from Rutherford County at 3 a.m. and then reportedly drove her back to his apartment in Knightdale. Her parents reported her missing. Holliday resigned back in August, 4 days after the investigation was launched.
A Hope County man says fireworks his neighbor set off on New Year's Eve caused this fire. The flames destroyed his truck, damaged a car, and also burned part of his home. Kevin White says he and his daughter were watching the ball drop when he got a notification from his security cameras. He says that shows his neighbor shooting off fireworks. A few minutes later, he got a second alert that showed the fire.
Flames from that camera that I thought were my neighbor's house came outside, and I went running to help them, and I saw the flames were actually in my driveway, and that changed everything.
White says he's thankful he and his daughter were awake when the fire started. He says it's unclear how much car and home insurance will cover. His family started a GoFundMe to help cover the cost of a new car and a temporary rental.
The labor union representing thousands of dock workers in the United States will negotiate again as another strike is possible. This is between the International Longshoremen's Association and United States Maritime Alliance. They're set to continue contract discussions on Tuesday. Nearly 45,000 dock workers went on a 3-day strike in the fall. A temporary deal was reached in October, but issues with automation remain unresolved. If a new deal is not reached by January 15th, workers could carry out another strike. Wake Forest is looking for a new police chief. Current Wake Forest Police Chief Jeff Leonard is retiring. He's served in his role for the last 15 years, the longest serving chief of police in Wake County, as a matter of fact. His last day will be February 1st.
Keep an eye to the sky this morning. One of the most impressive meteor showers of the year is going on right now. The best time to spot the Quadrantids meteor shower will be before the sun rises. So you have a little bit of time. People on the East Coast could see up to 25 meteors streaking across the skies.
Well, that'd be nice and beautiful to see there. And the best person to talk to see if we can see it clearly here would be Elizabeth Gardner. If people look up, will they have an easy time seeing this, Elizabeth?
We do have some clouds right now, so probably not, unfortunately. But, you know, if you happen to be out, you know, look up. There are some holes in the clouds. You might be able to see something out there. We do have a cold front that we're tracking this back to the west, moving across Tennessee right now. It is producing a little bit of light snow and some light showers with it, but by the time it reaches us later on this afternoon and evening, it'll be just a few sprinkles. We'll take a look at Futurecast. Definitely the potential for some snow showers in the mountains. We'll pause it here at around 3 o'clock, and we can see just a couple of isolated showers from South Hill down toward Durham at that point. By 5 o'clock, it slides eastward, and you can see from Goldsboro to Rocky Mounds up toward Roanoke Rapids, a little sprinkle, and then that's going to be the end of it. It may continue to snow a little bit in the mountains, but we'll be done with it and start to see some clearing overnight. With this front, we're going to see the winds picking up, and those winds will still be gusty for tonight and tomorrow, making for a very cold feeling day tomorrow, especially with the wind chill. Looking gorgeous in Franklinton this morning. I love they still have their tree up and their sidewalk all lit with the lights there, looking so pretty. 29 is our temperature outside currently heading out, and it'll be in the low 30s all the way up until around 9 o'clock or so. You can see here in this picture, this is a look at our tower cam, and you can see a little bit of cloud cover out there behind the tower this morning. So again, if you're trying to take a look at the meteor shower, we just may not have a whole lot of luck with that. Our temperatures are going to be a little bit below normal today. That's signified by the blue color contours, and it stays this way all the way into next week. As a matter of fact, we get another push of some really cold air across the country at the beginning of next week, and we're going to talk about what those impacts will be coming up. For today, though, 51 in Raleigh, 50 in Durham, 54 in Fayetteville. That's really close to normal for this time of year. Looking at a much colder day tomorrow, 41 Saturday, then 46 degrees on Sunday. 40s stay with us into next week. And look at the wind chill for tonight. Around midnight, 24. By 5 to 7 a.m., it'll feel like 18 to 19 degrees, and it will feel like low 30s for the afternoon. Highs tomorrow with that wind chill. So just be prepared for that. We're going to take a look at Monday coming up in just a few minutes. It looks like it's going to be a cold rain for us, but we'll show you who could see some snow.
Elizabeth, thanks. It is being called a Jurassic Highway, the incredible dinosaur discovery made by researchers in the United Kingdom.
Life finds a way, even on the road. And weaving memories, how the family of a Hurricane Helene victim is honoring her after her passing.